Welcome everyone, Marcelo is my name. I am the niche fragrance collector. SORA DORA is a brand that I fell in love with many years ago, to the point where I've become very good friends with the owner of the brand, Quentin. I love elaborating about his creativity and his motivation, the vision that he has for the brand. I was on the KM fragrance tour in Milan last year. We were staying at a hotel called Magnapath. I was coming downstairs. In the distance, I saw a very handsome man, and I thought, I know you. But you know when you see someone out of context, you're like, I know you, but I don't know from where. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, it's Quentin. He did exactly the same thing. He looked at me, did a double take, and he's like, I know this guy. Oh, it's Marcelo. We started chatting. He said to me while we were catching up, I've got a brand new fragrance. Would you like to test it? And I thought, I am the niche fragrance collector. The answer is obvious. Boom. Spray away, my friend. I remember on that first spray, my eyes went vop because I was expecting a gourmand fragrance, and instead I got distinct notes, these powerful notes coming through. Around about that same time, one of our guests also coming downstairs, I said, Gary, let me introduce you to Quentin. Quentin, do you mind if you spray Gary and let him test out this brand new fragrance? I said, Gary, you will be one of the first in the world. Gary, again, vop, boop. This time around, his eyes went boom, his pupils dilated, and he gave me like a ho sort of look. After breakfast, I caught up with Gary. I said, what'd you think of the fragrance? Pretty intense, right? And he's like, I had to wash it off. That was way too much for me. For those who are familiar with all things SORA DORA, they have two collections, black and the white. The black collection is more classic perfumery, but now with a modern twist. The white so far have become very gourmand in their profile. If you want to know more about all things SORA DORA, you can follow me on this particular production. I broke up all the fragrances from the Discovery set. You can use the code NFC10 and you get 10% off plus free delivery anywhere in the world. The advantage of these productions is that you and me smell fragrances together. I narrate, I explain what the fragrance is. I do talk to the screen, so it becomes a very interactive way of discovering fragrance across the world. The white collection up until now has been very gourmand leaning. Take something like Mallow with the beautiful fizzy sherbet funness that it has. Then you have something like Wild Up with its apricot jammy, musky dry down. 7, a beautiful aromatic vanilla that is perfect on a man. The ultimate gourmand dessert expression with Johnny. This gorgeous duck duck dan with a baked apple, beautiful pastry crust, vanilla, decadent. It is something divine and incredibly alluring. It hit the zeitgeist at the time. Gourmand fragrances with a dessert sort of lean were the thing at this particular moment. Johnny came out just at the right time, and it has become an incredible bestseller. Time to spray. On this arm, I've been here for about 5 or 6 hours, so I'm deep in the dry down, but the opening is what really like 2 sprays. Let me just say, you don't have to be too far away from your skin, wherever you may have sprayed, for you to know that this fragrance is in the air. It is potent. There is a power on that opening of the fragrance. And in my mind, it tells a very distinct story. So LüBu is in tribute or homage to a Chinese warrior. So he was a warlord of the time. I think it was 199 AD. He was a fierce warrior, and it is capturing the essence of this person, but in a particular scene. On that opening, it is arresting, it is unusual, it is ensnaring, it is not repulsive, but I guess a sense of fear almost. There is like something that is like seeing a horror movie or seeing a ghost. This balance between a metallic gun smoke and has some cloves in there. So you're getting a very sharp, arresting, medicinal, strikingly alarming opening to the fragrance. It captures your attention very quickly. Most fragrances want to ensnare you in that opening, you know, a bright citrus, a beautiful floral, something that, you know, makes you go, ooh, you're beautiful. Whereas here, the opposite is actually happening. It's making you literally wake up. And here's the thing, for those people who love those repulsion attraction style of fragrances, think of Orto Parisi, think of Matteo Frusciante in his earlier work. They purposely want to capture your attention, but in a striking sort of way. They're telling a story and they want you to quickly pay attention. It's a scene, and it is moments in time across the scene. If the tribute is to this warlord, he was also known as the Flying General, and that's because he was very skilled on the battlefield and also very skilled on horseback. Supposedly he had great speed and also precision in the way that he would fight. So for me, when the fragrance opens, it's the beginning of this battle. It is that moment where a lot of adrenaline, a lot of energy comes out. There is the battle before you, the imposing army that's coming towards you. And so everything is about sharpening your senses to this moment in time. There is that sense of that metallic gun smoke, but it could also be the steel of the actual sword. As the fragrance migrates, some of those elements remain because you are still on this battlefield. The difference is at that midpoint, you're now getting a bit of like a copper sort of smell, which is, in my opinion, and there is one of the notes, is a blood accord. And the intention is that you're now, I guess, seeing bodies everywhere. You are blood soaked in your garment. You're still alive though. You are LüBu. You're still holding your sword. I mean, there's a sense of warmth from the fragrance too. Then when it finally dries down, and that's where I am here, this is now 5-6 hours deep, it goes into the memory of the battlefield. Those earlier notes of the blood, of the metallic, are still lingering in the background, but in fact, what is taking center stage now is the warmth of vanilla. There is an ambery touch. There is this warmth that comes out of the fragrance, which is pretty wild considering where it begins, this sharp clove, metallic gun smoke, into warmth, amber, vanilla touch. Never goes into anything gourmand. There's still a force in the actual fragrance itself. So here is LüBu on the opening, ready for battle, sword in hand, gun smoke, action, adrenaline. Then the battle is won essentially, but you are blood soaked. Some of those sharper elements have come down. It's becoming a little bit more woody-like, a little bit more of that vanilla coming through. And then finally, the memory of this battle that you think to yourself, like all things after some time, it wasn't that bad. There are, sort of almost fond memories of that moment. I mean, I survived, didn't I? And that's where you land in this sort of warm vanilla amber place. The fragrance between you smelling it up close and it diffusing in the air are two different beasts. Recently, we had a family gathering. My son, my youngest son, who loves all things vanilla, walked into the house. I had been testing LüBu, and he's like, "Whoa, Da, I love the smell. What is it? It's like a vanilla, but it's not, and there's something." I said, "It's LüBu." Boom, he sprayed. His eyes, dunk. I was like, "Whoa, is it the same fragrance?" I'm like, "Give it time. It's gonna settle down." Then my oldest son arrived, and he's like, "Oof." Now remember, when this thing sprays, it is in the air. He's like, "Whoa, what is that?" And I said, "Well, it's LüBu." He's like, "Man, it smells amazing." Bop, he sprayed. My oldest son is a lot like me. He loves all things Orto Parisi. He loves the more hard-hitting. He loves ouds and things of that nature. And on first spray, he's like, "Whoa, I love this." And I'm like, "It's not too intense?" He's like, "No, there's this energy, this dynamic nature to the fragrance." As the fragrance settled down, as the evening progressed, both the boys were like, "I love, love, love this fragrance." Then about a week ago, my eldest son came over again. "I'm gonna go spray." He said hello, of course. Goes into, and I followed him. I wanted to see which fragrance he was going to hunt down. This is almost like a ritual. Comes in, says hello, goes straight to the perfume cabinet and selects something. He reached for LüBu. I'm like, "Whoa, you really like it?" And he goes, "I have not stopped thinking about this fragrance." Bop, 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 sprayed himself 3 times. He's like, "I love this fragrance." Now, it's interesting. In the air, as he moved around, his sillage, even the opening, is very pleasant. There is this beautiful allure to it, but an intriguing allure. There's something quite intensely beautiful about this. There's a word that I love using about these type of fragrances, and that is brutally beautiful. They have an energy to them. They have a brutality to them with their different sort of intense and aggressive notes. But it's so amazing because this beautiful composition just comes together creating this beauty that is super intense and very unique. When it comes to its presence and projection, LüBu is a monster. It actually pretty much echoes the Chinese warrior. You'll get 10 plus hours without a problem, and I'll go as far as saying 24 hours. You'll wake up in the morning, you'll be smelling LüBu off your skin. And when it comes to its sillage and projection, this is now in a very confident moderate, almost to the point of being high. The perfumer for this fragrance is the talented Margot. Quentin was actually part of our KM fragrance tour, the very first one that we did, and he invited Margot to be part of that masterclass. Johnny had not yet been released, and actually it was Margot who narrated how Johnny was created. In fact, it's her grandmother. Her grandmother's name is Johnny, and she wanted to capture the memory of her grandmother making these apple pies in the morning for her. It's exciting to see the relationship with Quentin and Margot and the creation of Johnny, and now the creation of LüBu. These two polar opposites when it comes to these particular fragrances, both using vanilla, but in a very distinct way. I do love SORA DORA, I love their creativity, and I take my hat off to Quentin, because some people, if they find a winner, then they will double down and triple down and keep going. I mean, how many times have we seen a movie that's been successful only to see the same movie come out as, you know, blah, blah, number 2, and it's the same movie, but just in a different location, and blah, blah, number 3. Same location, different people, but same storyline. Whereas here, Quentin has said, nope, we don't want to be recognized just as that. We've got many more stories to tell, and this is one that we'd like to put out to the world. One that I would recommend to you, please test it, don't blind buy. This is a very polarizing fragrance. If you do like brutally beautiful fragrances, then this is something that you should definitely explore. If you want to see a fragrance that has incredible creativity, wonderful artistic poetry behind it, I strongly recommend to you, test out LüBu. I'd love to hear your thoughts if you are familiar with this divine fragrance, and love to read your comments on any other fragrances that are out there that you love that are brutally beautiful, essentially. Thanks everyone. We'll see you guys all on the next episode.